I have been doing this a long time. Long enough to have made more mistakes than I care to count. Long enough to have built things I am proud of and things I would rather forget. And long enough to know exactly what I would do differently if I could go back. Today I am not going to teach you a technique. I am not going to review a tool or walk you through a project plan. Today I am going to sit across from you and tell you about 7 things I wish someone had pushed me to build 30 years ago. 7 things that would have made me a better craftsman faster, a smarter workshop owner earlier, and in one case, something I built just last year that I should have built the very first week I ever picked up a chisel. That last one is number 1 on this list. And when I tell you what it is, I think you are going to feel it. Not just understand it. Feel it. So keep that in your mind as we go through this list. Something I should have built on day 1. Something so simple I am almost embarrassed to admit I waited this long. Welcome to Wood Uncle. I am glad you are here today. Subscribe if you have not already, because this one is a little different from our usual videos. And I think you are going to want to come back for more of this kind of conversation. Number 7. A proper workbench. I know. You have heard this before. Build a good workbench first. Every woodworking book says it. Every experienced craftsman preaches it. And I nodded along for years while building my projects on a wobbly door blank sitting on sawhorses and wondering why my joinery never quite came out right. A good workbench is not just a surface to work on. It is a tool. A heavy, solid, unapologetic tool that does not move when you plane against it, does not flex when you chop a mortise, and does not vibrate when you saw. Every hour I spent fighting my unstable bench was an hour I could have spent actually getting better at woodworking. And I spent a lot of hours fighting that bench. What I wish I had built was a simple Robo-style bench. 4 heavy legs. A thick top. A leg vise on the left side and a wagon vise at the end. Nothing fancy. No exotic wood. Just mass and solidity built from construction lumber that cost almost nothing. The whole thing could have been built in a week. And it would have made every single project after it noticeably better. I wasted nearly a decade building projects on a surface that was working against me. Number 6. A dedicated sharpening station. For years I sharpened my tools wherever there was space. On a corner of the bench. On a piece of plywood balanced on the floor. On the tailgate of my truck once, if I am being completely honest. And because my sharpening setup was always inconvenient, I always found a reason to delay it. The tools got duller and duller. The work got harder and harder. And I told myself I would sharpen properly once I had a better setup. Here's what I know now that I did not know then. The barrier to sharpening is almost never willpower. It is friction. When sharpening is inconvenient, you avoid it. When it is right there, set up and ready, you do it. A dedicated sharpening station does not need to be large. A small shelf, a few square feet of counter, your stones laid out flat and ready to go, a strop mounted on the wall, a small light above it. That is all it takes. And once it exists, you will sharpen constantly. Because it costs you nothing to walk over and do it. I built mine 3 years ago. Within a month my tools were sharper than they had ever been in 30 years of woodworking. The work changed immediately. The surfaces were cleaner. The joints were tighter. Everything improved. And I had been one shelf and a few stones away from that improvement for 3 decades. Number 5. A set of shop-made winding sticks. This one is going to surprise some of you. Winding sticks are 2 simple strips of wood, usually a contrasting species, that you lay across a board to reveal twist. You sight across them and the twist in the board becomes immediately and dramatically obvious. It is one of the oldest and most reliable surface-checking tools in the history of woodworking. And I did not own a proper pair until I had been woodworking for 20 years. Do you know how many panels I glued up in those 20 years with twist in them that I could not see? How many tabletops that rocked? How many cabinet backs that did not sit flat? All of it preventable with 2 strips of contrasting wood that take an afternoon to make and last a lifetime. Make them from something beautiful. Maple and walnut. Cherry and ebony. They will be in your hands every time you true a board for the rest of your life. They deserve to be worth looking at. And every time you pick them up you will understand something that took me 2 decades to learn. The most valuable tools in any workshop are often the ones that do the least and reveal the most. Number 4. A wall-mounted clamp rack. I spend more hours of my woodworking life than I am willing to admit searching for clamps. They were on the floor, under the bench, leaning against the wall in clusters that fell over every time I pulled one out. Every glue-up began with a hunt. Every assembly was slightly more stressful than it needed to be because I could never find what I needed when I needed it. A clamp rack is a morning project. Some wall-mounted pegs or a simple horizontal rail, and suddenly every clamp you own is visible, reachable, and back in exactly the same place when you are done with it. That is it. That is the entire project. But the effect on your workshop and your state of mind during a glue-up is extraordinary. And here is the thing about clamps that I also wish I had understood 30 years ago. You always need more than you think. Whatever number you have, double it. And then add 10 more? There is no such thing as too many clamps in a workshop. There is only not enough clamps yet. Number 3. A shooting board. A shooting board is a simple jig that holds a piece of wood perfectly square while you run a plane along its end or edge to clean it up. The result is an end-grained surface so flat and square that it glues up with almost no clamping pressure at all. The joint is invisible. The fit is perfect. And it takes about half an hour to build from scrap. I cannot tell you how many frame joints I forced together in my early years, how much glue I used trying to close gaps that should never have been there, how many picture frames and cabinet doors came out with a slight lean to them because my end grain was never quite right. All of it would have been solved by a shooting board. If you do not have one, build one this weekend. It will take you 2 hours and it will change the quality of every frame, every panel edge, and every end-grained surface you ever produce after it. There is almost no investment of time in this craft that pays back faster than a shooting board. Number 2. A hand-cut dovetail box for practice. Not a box to give as a gift. Not a box to sell. A box you make for yourself, alone, with no deadline and no audience, just to learn how to cut a dovetail properly. A practice box. I avoided dovetails for years. They intimidated me. I watched craftsmen cut them and thought that must take special talent, special tools, years of practice I do not have time for. So I used other joints. Simpler joints. Joints that did the job but never gave me the satisfaction that comes from looking at a perfectly fitted dovetail at the corner of something you made with your hands. The day I finally sat down with a piece of scrap pine and a dovetail saw and just started cutting without any pressure to get it right, everything changed. The first set was terrible. The second was better. By the fifth I was beginning to understand what the chisel was supposed to feel like, what the saw was supposed to sound like, where my eyes should be looking. And by the 10th I cut a set that actually fit. And I felt something I had not felt in years of woodworking. The feeling of a new door opening. I wish I had done that on day 1. I wish I had given myself permission to be bad at something long enough to get good at it. It took me 20 years to learn that the only way through a skill gap is through it. And a scrap box is the cheapest and most honest way to begin. And now number 1. The thing I should have built on the very first day I walked into a workshop. The thing so simple it sounds almost foolish. The thing that is not a project in any traditional sense, and yet has done more for my woodworking than every tool I have ever bought, every book I have ever read, and every class I have ever taken. Number 1. A woodworking journal. Not a log. Not a record. A journal. A place where I write down what I tried, what worked, what failed, and most importantly, why. A place where I sketch out ideas that came to me at 3 in the morning. A place where I record the dimensions of a jig that worked perfectly so I never have to figure it out again. A place where I am completely honest with myself about the state of my craft. For most of my career I held everything in my head. And the head is a terrible filing system. I would solve the same problem 3 times because I never wrote down the first solution. I would forget the dimensions of a fence setting that gave me perfect results. I would lose a proportion that I had figured out for a chair leg that took me 2 weeks of trial and error to arrive at. All of it gone. None of it recorded. None of it building toward anything. A journal turns every project into a lesson. It means that every mistake you make feeds the craftsman you are becoming rather than just costing the project you are working on. It means that every good decision compounds over time into a body of knowledge that is entirely your own, built from your hands, your workshop, your wood, your tools. The craftsmen who get better the fastest are not the ones who work the hardest. They are the ones who reflect the most honestly on what they did. A journal is how you do that. It costs nothing. It takes 5 minutes at the end of a session. And over 30 years it builds something that no tool can build for you. A record of a craftsman growing. I started mine 4 years ago. I have filled 3 of them. And when I look back at the first pages, I can see exactly where I was and exactly how far I have come. That is a feeling I cannot describe to you. You have to build it for yourself to understand it. So there you have it. 7 things I wish I had built 30 years ago. A proper workbench. A dedicated sharpening station. A set of winding sticks. A clamp rack. A shooting board. A practice dovetail box. And a woodworking journal. None of them are glamorous. None of them will make you famous. But every single one of them will make you better. Faster than almost anything else you could spend your time on in this craft. Tell me in the comments which one of these you are going to build first. And tell me if there is something you wish you had built earlier in your own woodworking life that I did not mention. Because I want to hear it. That kind of wisdom belongs in this community. If this conversation meant something to you today, share it with a woodworker who needs to hear it. And subscribe to Wood Uncle if you have not already. I will see you in the next one. Build the things that make you better. Because the best project you will ever complete is the craftsman you are still becoming.